Am I haunted? 48 hours before I go insane and my heart stops? Hey, Dean.
You're gonna burn.
Hello and welcome to Gank
that
Drink.
Oh, it just didn't even go. There it is. Oh,
Mine didn't barely make a sound. Oh,
I wish podcasting is a visual medium. I wish people could see what my can looks like right now with the tab it's like not even open.
oh no!
The tab has been fired, but then it didn't open. Now I have to push it with my finger. Okay, that was a fail. Anyway,
well, like all things on Gank That Drink, it starts with a fail and goes downhill from there. Hey, what's up? It's the podcast where we play drinking game rules along with our favorite episodes of the drinking show.
Of the drinking
It's
show,
not.
It's
not a drinking show. We
they
make it a
drink
drinking
so much in it.
show.
One thing I'm realizing with trying to always play with drink along with the show is because Dean's always in some episode just having a beer, whether it's like next to baby or in the bunker or wherever. Like it's just always at some point Jensen Ackles has a beer in his hand.
Yep.
In a lot of episodes.
Or something stronger.
Yeah, or more, yeah. Sam's the one who tends to he tends to go for the hard stuff.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of times. Anyway, yes, I miss the days when you used to come up with the most amazing adjectives for Supernatural that we should maybe try to get back. I don't know.
Yeah.
Sucking
tonight,
into,
it's our drinking show. Supernatural.
Supernatural.
Hey, that voice you're hearing is Nate McWhorter, performer, teacher, and doer of things at the Neighborhood Comedy Theater in downtown Mesa, Arizona.
And that voice that you just heard is Krissy Lenz. She is the director and purveyor of the Neighborhood Comedy Theater in downtown Mesa, Arizona, as well as the host of the most excellent 80s podcast, 80s movie podcast, excuse me, and all sorts of other wonderful projects that I could go on and on about. And we're watching your episode tonight.
It's a me episode tonight. We're watching season 4, episode 6. So we're ping-ponging around here.
Heck yeah.
We're ping-ponging back to season 4, episode 6, Yellow Fever.
We're a week before Halloween in 2008. So we are in the last couple weeks of the Obama-McCain campains.
Oh boy.
to put everyone into real world history of where we're at in time here. So we're going in the Wayback Machine tonight.
Yeah. So here are the rules that we are going to play with this episode, or that we did play with this episode. 1, it's a agent names rule. So anytime the boys give their agent names, take a drink, and you are going to double it because their agent names in this episode are rock names.
Heck yeah.
There should be some kind of bonus for the first person in your group that you're watching with who can name the band that the rock names are from.
Yes. An extra bonus if they can name the full names of those members then.
And then a lot of the rules are one-offs. If the boys are asked to take their shoes off, take a drink. Take a drink anytime Dean scritches at his scratches. Take a drink for Eye of the Tiger. Take a drink when the boys open the trunk. Take a drink, of course, anytime you hear them say Gank. That's a house rule.
Mm-hmm.
Take a drink for an EMF reading. Take a drink for a death. And finally, take a drink for the BM scene, the boy melodrama scene, because they're drinking at the end.
Scene.
They're drinking in the BM scene, so we need to be drinking with them.
There's a lot of drinking in this episode.
There is. There is a lot of drinking. Dean's legit drunk in this episode.
He's so afraid, so he's like just taking swings of whiskey all the time.
Liquid courage. So we start with our then. We're reminded of Lilith, a creepy little girl demon.
Yeah, the second she pops up on the screen, I turned to Abby and I was like, ooh, Lilith.
Lilith.
I forgot about her. Ooh. And she's so, her part in this is creepy too.
Ooh. Ba-boom, ba-boom. Yeah,
Ba-boom,
she's
ba-boom,
very
yeah.
creepy. We're reminded of Sam drinking demon blood to get weird super strength. And we get some very early Castiel, you should respect me because I brought you out of hell and I could put you back there.
We're getting like really moody early cast, just grumpy.
So
all the
grumpy,
time, Cass.
so growly. Grumpy growly Cass.
Yeah.
Pew, 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 pew. Now, Dean is running from what seems like a crazy dog.
You think it's a hellhound.
You
like
think
you
it's a
literally they
hellhound.
make it seem like it's a hellhound.
And it's revealed to be like a little Pekingese. Just a little poodly
Adorable,
little thing.
with like a bow in its hair and everything.
And then Dean's like, whoa, whoa, whoa! He does a Wilhelm scream and runs away. Then we're in Rock Ridge, Colorado, 43 hours earlier. Not that Rock Ridge?
Not that Rock Ridge. Have you watched the History of the World Part 2 yet?
No.
Oh, it's quite good.
Is there a Rock Ridge in it?
Well, there's Rock Ridge from Blazing Saddles, so yes, they have a Rock Ridge in it, and then on the sign it says, not to spoil it for you, but it says not that Rock Ridge.
Not that Rock Ridge. Okay,
so
good.
That's what I wrote down on my notes.
If I was up on my comedy,
sorry,
I would have caught
the
that.
episode too. Yeah.
But we're flashing backwards, which is as we've learned, one of my favorite things. We're going 43 hours earlier.
Yes, we're a little noir for the supernatural episode.
Yeah,
tonight. A little noir flavor.
The boys flash their badges and give their agent's name as Tyler and Perry, and it's not a reference to Tyler Perry.
No,
it's a reference,
but also funny
to the band Aerosmith. Steven Tyler and is it also Steve Perry?
I believe it. Yeah,
Joe
Steve
Perry?
Tyler and I will get back to you on that.
Okay. They are at the morgue investigating some suspicious heart attacks that the boys don't think are heart attacks. Now, this creepy morgue attendant is going to do the autopsy right there, and he spritzes Dean.
Joe Perry.
Sorry,
Joe Perry. Yes, Dean gets spritzed.
And so does Sam. They both get spritzed with a little bit of body goo from
Dean
this body that it died of a heart attack, but this was a very healthy marathon running man. He's like covered in scritches and scratches, and the boys want to know what caused his heart attack because there's no signs of it. So then we cut to the sheriff's office. The sheriff is a germaphobe. He asks them to take their shoes off, take a drink.
He's like bathing in hand sanitizer.
He's literally bathing himself in hand sanitizer. He reveals that he and the victim, Frank, go way back, and before he died, he was real jumpy. Like he had gotten real scared, real frightened.
Yeah, like kind of like I'm acting like right now. Like exactly how I'm acting at this very moment. That's the way he was acting.
And the sheriff is also really like suspiciously coughy, like being a little weird.
Which is a pretty clever of this. I like the red herring with the episode title, and then the kind of like first 20 minutes or so of this when like, oh, like everyone's sick, yellow fever, like, oh, this is actually like
a sickness,
an illness the boys are gonna have to deal with, like we end up seeing later on in lots of different ways. Nope. Yellow means something completely different. It's a pun.
They're doing a walk and talk saying that it could be anything. It could be a ghost. It could be a this. It could be a that. And we get our first hint of Dean being like, I think we should walk across the street. I don't like the look of those teens.
I love that. It was great, and that's when you first start realizing something's up with Dean. Can we just go back? I have one note I forgot to mention when you're talking about our sheriff. I believe when he is talking about his dear departed friend Frank, the line he says is, "Hell, we were gamecocks."
Yes, he does say that.
And
then he says, "It's the name of the team we were on."
You moron. And he says it's a majestic animal. And I'm like, a gamecock is a chicken that's been mutilated and bred to fight. It is not a majestic animal. This is, anyway. I like had to write that down. It was so abrupt.
It was.
It was like a calm conversation. He was just like, "Hell, we were gamecocks." Like, I'm like, I don't know.
Stop
Great choice
yelling
of
about
mascot.
cock.
And you named your softball. This is like a grown 40-something-year-old. You could choose anything.
Oh, I thought it was their high school team.
No, it's like their softballs, like their beer league softball team.
Oh, okay.
And he's like super passionate about their connection on this beer league, because that's like how they end up determining that they passed the sickness, the ghost sickness to one another, is because they're like having pizza and wings after the softball.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All touching each other and being gross.
Yeah. Like, I mean, watching this episode in a post-COVID world definitely has some,
a
little bit of stuff that you're like, "Bleh."
You're like, yay for the hand sanitizer, boo for not coughing into your elbow.
Boo getting splattered with ghost blood.
Yeah. So we go to talk to the neighbor. The boys give their agent name again, and the neighbor, who is like this creepy reptile dude, is like, "Oh, like the band." So good for him. Dean is scared.
What were the name of his snakes?
Donnie and Marie.
Donnie and Marie.
He says that Frank. He tells him that Frank was used to be a bully. Used to have a real problem bullying. They went to high school together. I guess that's why I thought the softball team was in high school, because like there's so many high school references.
Yes.
And he says like in high school he was a real bully. He used to tape people's butt cheeks together. But as he
probably
aged,
the whole town, he said.
As he aged, he mellowed out and turned into a real good guy. But he had been really afraid. And one of the things he said he was afraid of One of the things he said he was afraid of was Pez dispensers with their dead little eyes.
Oh, I missed that line.
Yeah.
I just got a shudder down my spine.
And
now I'm afraid of that.
Yeah. It's from him that we learn that the wife died mysteriously about 20 years back. And Dean is scared of the snakes in the house.
The one that slithers up on him, Marie, is a man-eater. That thing was huge. That is not something anyone has as a pet around unless you're like super rich and have illegal exotic animals.
Yep.
That thing was massive. Like there was for sure like 2 people behind the couch holding it.
It was like a Britney Spears style snake.
It was huge.
It was like a big albino number.
Boa, it was crazy. Beautiful snake though.
Okay, but I don't necessarily want it on the couch with me.
I think they're super cool, but yeah, I'm not about like hanging out with them.
Yeah, I'm not about them coming over the couch to give me a warm hug.
Netflix and chilling.
A cold hug, yeah.
All
So we're in the Impala. Sam has done some research. Apparently the wife died of suicide, but they've determined it's not ghosts, witches, or demons. Dean is driving 20 miles an hour, which is the speed limit. And he goes, "What? Like safety's a crime now?" And then he refuses to make a left turn into oncoming traffic, which is when Sammy knows something's wrong. The EMF reader goes off, and what am I, haunted? Yes. Dean is haunted. Next,
wonderful.
We're back in the Impala again, but it's daytime, and Dean is singing along to Eye of the Tiger. We learn that he has ghost sickness, and it spreads like the flu. It spreads through like fluids and coughs and touching and like any other normal germ you'd get from someone. This is a ghost who infects you with fear. And Sammy also explains that this particular ghost sickness seems to skip over milder personalities and adhere itself to bullies or
that's an interesting theory.
Or men who would refer to themselves as alphas.
Yeah. It was weird. That was a weird part, but it was like it was like a way to try to force it. I think we almost even get a couple like mini BM scenes in the middle of this episode because
You
you get
do.
like Sam being like, "Yeah, Dean, you're kind of a dick all the time."
He's like, I don't scare people. He says, Dean, all we do is scare people.
It's literally all we do.
Sam's like, well, you do too. And he's like, apparently I don't.
Apparently I'm nicer about it than you are.
Yep. So they learn that they need to kill the ghost in order to save Dean. And there is a ticking clock on the situation because he will scare himself into a heart attack like the other body did. And he confesses that he's out in the car because their room is on the 4th floor and it's too high.
Yep.
So once they get their 1st floor room, Dean is just in the hotel room, scared. He's coughing and coughing and coughing, just like the sheriff was. We learned that the wife was cremated, so it can't have been her ghost. And then finally, Dean coughs up wood chips.
What?
Sammy's like, we're ignoring the biggest clue that we have. It's you. He says, I don't want to be a clue.
Jensen's acting in this episode is some of his best in the whole run.
I agree. He should get a retrograde Emmy.
He never gets to pull out these emotions or these sort of expressions, a way of expressing them because just of the character of Dean. So it's really fun to watch the writers and everybody like make it happen to where, and I think we've talked about this before where like it really is like they always do this for Jensen and like Jared Padalecki hardly ever got like a chance to like, he was always just Sam.
Yep.
Just mostly Sam. And then if it wasn't Sam, he was like Sam with like a brooding angel inside him. So he's just Sam.
He's just stiffer. He's just like more formal in his
yeah.
way of speaking.
There's a couple he does get, but obviously like French Connection. There's, I mean, where you get to act like yourself. But I've always thought that Jensen's acting in this episode.
Did you say French Connection? It's
French mistake. Sorry. Yeah,
that's okay.
You know,
it took me a minute.
Someone brought up French Connection recently, so it's on my brain.
Alpacas are the greenest animal. No, I totally agree with you. It's a treat, a delight for the senses.
Yeah, and just like, I mean, again, just there's like facial expressions I feel like you never see again from Jensen / Dean.
Yep.
In the whole run that you get in this episode. So obviously I'd say it's a must-watch episode.
Absolutely. In spite of the dumb name. So the wood chip leads them to the lumber mill. Dean is drinking heavily, so if we were playing you drink when he drinks, you'd be drinking. But he won't carry a gun. He's like, what? I could shoot my eye out. He's like, I'll man the flashlight. I love Scaredy Dean. They find Frank O'Brien's ring. And which is like, are we supposed to believe that the ring's been there 20 years?
I guess. I mean, everything looked pretty abandoned. This town doesn't like tear down.
But they noticed his like
mills.
The like tan line of his ring. So like, had he gone out there recently? Did I miss that? I don't know.
I don't. A lot of that we got a little muddy for me.
Okay.
And some of the details there.
Yeah, like if this all happened 20 years ago, I guess the ghost sickness took 20 years.
They're doing sometimes Supernatural does this thing where they're like, if we just add enough layers of like explanation,
we'll stop thinking about it.
Things, people, they're not going to quite like, because like when you think about this was literally like, it was the guy, right? This is episode, the guy has like the infatuation with the woman, right? Because they add like keep adding layers, like every act in this movie they add layers to this backstory because I don't think they really had a plan. And I think they're like, we just want Dean to be scared of stuff.
Yeah.
And so we're gonna keep just making Dean get in situations where he's afraid of things. But like,
well, speaking of that, the next thing that happens is they hear a rattling in one of the lockers. They open it and there's a cat inside, but Dean screams, "Ah! Ah!"
might be the best 8 seconds of
It's
Supernatural.
a priceless supernatural gif. We get several priceless supernatural gifs in this episode. And of that is him screaming at this cat. Just wide mouth.
I've seen it about 100 times before, and even still last night watching it, rewound like 3 times to watch it over and over.
And he's like, that was scary.
And that's the face. That's one of the faces when he says that. You're just like, oh, we never see that face again.
Yeah.
For 10 more,
he gets
11
to really
more
do comedy.
We never see that face again. Yeah.
So the offices at this lumber mill are trashed, but they do find drawings of the wife that committed suicide, and thereby Luther Garland. Once they like sort of identify that, all of the machines come to life. They see a ghost in the corner, and Dean is like off hiding. So they kind of have identified the ghost now.
He runs away.
He runs away.
Runs away.
They go back to the sheriff's office looking for the Garland file, and they see that 20 years ago he died under mysterious circumstances. Dean is drunk, and the desk clerk at the sheriff's office is like, is he drunk? And Dean's like, you know what? You're awesome. That's our second perfect supernatural meme.
Yes, it is.
It's our perfect
I forgot while watching the episode that he had been like just chugging drinks. Like, I mean, I was drinking along, but like forgot that. And so when the guy was like, "Is he drunk?" I'm like, "No, he's just like really afraid of everything."
Yeah.
But then I'm like, "Oh yeah, I guess he was actually drunk because he was afraid of everything."
And he was just chugging like brown liquor the whole time. What the boys don't see is that inside the sheriff's office, the sheriff is like scrubbing his arms with like bunched up tinfoil, and he's just like scratching his arms to death, and he's bleeding all over, and he's hearing his own voice say, they know what you did. Creepy. Dean, so then they're going to investigate further. They're going to go question Luther's brother, but Dean's afraid to use the badges. He's like, what are we doing running around using these fake badges? Someone could know that they're fake. We could get busted. We could go to jail. And then when they present them to Luther's brother, they're like, these are real, obviously. What kind of person would go around using fake badges? That would be nutty.
That's crazy.
The brother explains that Luther was a gentle giant who had a crush on Frank's wife, and that it was kind of an open secret in this town that Frank killed Luther after the wife mysteriously vanished. Like, the wife mysteriously vanished. No one knew why, so his only thought was to say, well, let's get that big, scary guy at the lumber mill who's obsessed with her. Let's go get him. And it's kind of like this open secret that everyone knows and no one says. But what they did, or what Frank did, I guess, Frank did this by himself, was he chained around Luther's neck and dragged him up and down the street of the lumber mill. Oh my God, that's so nasty and dark.
Yeah, it's not a lighthearted thing. It's really kind of grotesque.
And that's one of the reasons why we've never been able to do this episode as a mashup, because that's just too...
That scene, I don't even know how you do it.
Too excruciating.
I don't... Because the scene, you really... Do they show you the flashback, or do you only see it as the ghost?
You only see it as the ghost.
So I guess that is the one thing, is you only... But, like, how do you explain that? How would we even begin to try to do, like...
Yeah, no, it's too dark at the end, too. It's just, it's too much. So what they figure out is that Dean is having Luther's symptoms. Like, he's getting road rash on his arms, itchy road rash on his arms. He's coughing up wood chips because Luther would have swallowed wood chips. And then finally he's going to have a heart attack because that's what killed Luther. They can't burn the body because the body would be too scattered.
Yeah, like there would have been bits of it all over there. I was like, when has that ever stopped you from just burn the mill down?
Yeah,
just burn the whole thing. It's already no one uses it.
It's covered
already
in wood
abandoned.
chips. Burn the wood chips.
Yeah.
Have a nice little
Just
hickory
burn it all
barbecue.
down. That's what I was thinking. I was like, that wouldn't be the first time you guys lit a structure on fire to get rid of a spirit.
But there's no easy way out for the boys this time. So this is where we get another little BM scene where Dean's like, who hunts ghosts? What the hell? What are we doing? What are we thinking? We do the scariest thing. We're insane. Who wants this? I listen to the same 5 albums over and over. I know I'm annoying. And you're gassy. You have half a burrito and we gotta air out the truck
You're
for
toxic.
weeks. And then he quits. I quit. And off he goes to get chased by a Pekingese.
And they don't show us a second time, which is fine.
They don't. We know.
don't
We
get
know
to
what
see it.
happened.
I know, but it's fun to watch. Yeah.
Then Dean is alone in the hotel having hallucinations. He's hallucinating that Sam is telling him that he wants him to go back to hell and like all sorts of dark shit. Meanwhile, Sam has gone to see Bobby, who we learn as a master of all trades, not only speaks but reads Japanese.
And says to what he says roughly translates to because Jensen, geez, Sam asked, "Do you speak Japanese?" And he says, "Since before you were born."
Nice.
Roughly, according to the internet.
That's excellent. They learn that the spirit is called the Buro Buro, and that the only way to get rid of it is to scare it to death. So they're kind of on the case because Dean is out for the count. He's too scared and too sick to be on the case anymore. But the sheriff comes and attacks Dean. He's like, why are you looking into this case? You're not going to bring me down. Sure, maybe Frank killed Luther and maybe I didn't bust him for it, but that's no reason for you to bring me down. And they have a big fight. And it's like, no, that's a perfect reason to bring you down, sir.
Yeah.
You had one job.
Exactly.
And it's to arrest people who murder people.
But they were gamecocks.
They were gamecocks together, damn it.
The other team name that they show, I think in that flashback sequence or whatever, is the Corn Jerkers.
Oh Lord.
Those are the 2 names of the softball teams in this town.
Great.
The Gamecocks and the Corn Jerkers.
Good stuff.
It's 2008, everybody.
We didn't know then. No, they knew.
The CW.
They knew.
Who was watching the CW in 2008?
Meanwhile, at the mill, Bobby and Sam are trying to get the ghost out in the open. It's not working. So Sammy starts tearing up the pictures. Finally, Luther attacks. We cut to Dean freaking out. The sheriff has died in their hotel room and had a heart attack. He's kissing and hugging the Bible. But that's not enough to keep away his hallucination of Lilith, the little girl who's like, you're going to come back to hell and be with me. I'm going to make your heart explode, Dean. And then she starts going, ba-boom, 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 ba-boom. It's very scary.
Yeah, most small children are. And she's terrifying. And she does a great job of being terrifying.
Yep. Cut back to Sam fighting with Luther. They wrap a chain around his neck, drag him up the road until he gets scared to death and disappears. Terrible.
Even
so dark.
The way they extinguish the ghost, the bad in this is like so.
Because I'm thinking like he doesn't deserve that. Like the ghost isn't intentionally killing people, and if he is, he's killing people who. Like, so why are you gotta like scare this ghost into oblivion?
I think ultimately maybe the ghost is finally now at peace. Maybe it's no longer in the like purgatory-ish whatever realm.
Well, I sure hope so, because he wasn't the bad guy.
Me too. No, that's the thing about this is like the bad people. I mean, I guess the bad people all end up dying, but like the bad in the sense of the supernatural bad is not a bad. It's just a guy who like wants to be at his mill and look at the pictures of the lady he liked.
Yep. Ugh. Okay. So then we get our BM scene. They're teasing Dean. Bobby and Sam are teasing Dean like, this knife's not for everyone. You may want to cut out of here. And he's like, I'll kill anything. It's very funny. It's a great BM scene, a great closer. Dee's like, I'm not afraid of anything. We got our old Dean back.
Yeah.
And Sammy asks him, what did he see when he was having his worst of all hallucinations? But Dean, of course, can't tell Sam about Lilith because he's still sort of hiding like what he may or may not have done while he was in hell. And he says, howler monkeys.
Yeah.
That's what he dreamed of.
Because you get a little flash of something in Sam's
Mhm.
eyes. So he like gets real uncomfortable, like, oh, were my visions actually visions, or did I actually see something
Yep.
that was real? And so he's like, howler monkeys.
Yep.
This thing freaking scare me.
Then we get a little treat. A little treat at the end of this episode.
So out of nature for the show. It's not like something they ever do again or that they had ever done previously.
We get Supernatural presents Jensen Ackles singing along and dancing along to Eye of the Tiger, which is a friggin' delight that makes this whole episode absolute perfection.
Yes.
If you haven't,
Yeah,
if you
no.
watch only one part of this episode, and I'm sure you can find it online, watch Jensen Ackles as Dean dancing along to Eye of the Tiger. 10 out of 10 would do business again.
And according to the some of the lore around the episode is that
Jensen?
that
Jared
Padalecki
Padalecki?
did not, he like held back from, he basically like didn't do his cue for Jensen. Like he just like wanted to see what he would do if he didn't, because he's supposed to come up and like tap on the window,
Yep.
right? So he just doesn't do it for a take, and he wants to see what he does, and that's what he did.
I love it.
So that's pretty cool. That it was kind of just seemed kind of organic too. It wasn't like they're like, oh, you know, it'd be funny. Jensen, get in the car. Yeah, let's set it up. But then, you know, we're just gonna let you do that. No, it was like pretty organic from the sound.
I love it. And that's why we love this drinking show.
This amazing drinking show where they occasionally hunt monsters and help people.
Look at you having all the good facts for this episode, Nate, killing it. Superstar.
I scroll through the wikis and the IMDBs here and there.
MVP of this episode.
No, it's such a great episode, and at the same time, like if you like scratch the surface, you're like, what is this episode?
What is this episode?
If you just like scratch a little bit, the episode is they wanted like how it was. Someone was just like, what if Dean was just afraid of everything?
Yeah.
What if that was just it? Just the episode is Dean is just afraid of everything. Just like we have what if Dean was a dog?
Yeah. We got to ask these questions. After 15 years, we start asking questions.
2 episodes a season to make. Some of them have to be what if Dean did X.
Yep. I love this one. So here's how our rules played out. Let me know if you got the same count as me. They give their agent names 3 times.
Yes, 3 times.
Which equals 6 drinks. They take their shoes off once.
Yep.
I counted Dean scritching his arm 7 times.
Ooh, I got 6, so I'm sure I missed one. And because Abby was helping me keep track because I was missing him.
We get 2 Eye of the Tigers.
Yep.
1 time they open the trunk.
I got 2.
Oh.
When Bobby shows up, he's in the
Oh.
trunk. Yeah.
Good catch. 2 EMF readings.
Yep.
3 deaths.
Yep.
1 gank.
1 gank.
And 1 BM scene.
1 BM scene with a couple, like I said, like kind of BM moments.
Yeah.
Earlier in the episode that I was like,
some BM sprinklings.
Yeah. And we also have 1 Sammy.
Oh, I missed it.
There is a Sammy in this episode, yeah. I don't remember when it happens, but I wrote it down.
Excellent.
Oh, it's the last word of the episode.
It is?
Yeah, he literally says, Dean literally says something. I like literally says Sammy is the last.
What a catch.
Because I remember being like, oh, well, there's one Sammy in this episode. It's at the very
There's
end.
one Sammy and one Gank. So,
Yep.
I have a very important question for you, Nate. What's next?
What's next?
Where do we go from season 4, episode 7?
Well, I'm gonna make a weird connection only because I still have the wiki pulled up because I was actually trying to find the quote from Dean there at the end. There is a character in this episode who has the line, "Well, Wizard of Oz was on TV the other night, right?" And he said
Gasp!
that green bitch was totally out to get him.
Yep.
So, in connection with that line, our next episode is going to be season 9, episode 4, Slumber Party.
A great pick. A perfect pick.
I know. And actually, I'm pretty sure my next 2 picks are going to be back-to-back episodes.
Oh, really? Dog Dean Afternoon?
Sure. Yep, I'm pretty sure I'm going to do Dog Dean Afternoon, unless you want to
No, that's all you.
So I was like, they're right back to back, but like I love them both so much.
And we did them both one year as Supernatural mashup.
Same year at Fan Fusion. So the rules for this episode, though,
I'm ready.
I'm not gonna lie, they were tricky. I've picked a couple tricky ones lately to come up with rules for. So for this one, anytime someone turns some lights on, we're taking a drink.
Okay.
Yeah, that's where we're at. We're turning on the lights, drinking. Obviously playing Sammy. As someone dies,
okay,
we're taking a drink. Something dies. Anytime there is like, and obviously like, it's got to be a reference or a pun or like something that makes you kind of like chuckle. An Oz, any sort of Oz reference, pun, or Wicked reference, pun, like, yeah, there's lots of them, but obviously like someone just saying Dorothy or whatever doesn't count. So be discerning on that, because obviously the episode's littered with them, so however you want to play that. That's where probably the majority of them are going to come from. Poppy bullets. Anytime a poppy bullet is fired, let's take a drink. With a BM, there's a couple BM scenes or moments in this episode.
Okay.
So we're doing some BM. And then I got 2 shots, which is a shot for a Zeke appearance.
Okay.
And a salute shot. Yeah, and actually, I'm going to add one more because I'm thinking about it. I'm adding one more. Anytime we get a the witch is behind you.
Witch is behind you.
The witch is behind you. Moment.
Excellent. I love those rules. I love the episode. That's going to be a great episode. So please stick around for that one. And if you're still here with us at the end, hey, thank you. It's listeners like you who make this so worthwhile. We appreciate you so much. If you haven't already, like, rate, review, leave us a comment. And if you could review us on Apple Podcasts, that would really be great, because one of the visible ones right now just says, please stop. So
oh no,
it was old. It was from when we were doing the show differently. But hey, help us block that guy out.
Right.
People don't like my take on Dean's toxic masculinity. So, but you know what? If that's your thoughts, share it with us. Either way,
sure.
No such thing as bad publicity. We love you so much. And so when you're out there in the world saving people and hunting things, the family business, be excellent to each other and party on, dude.
Party on, dudes.